Hello and welcome back. This is part 2 of Manny Pacquiao versus Barrera. Now, I got a request on the first part of this video to do Cotto versus Manny Pacquiao. I was going to do that after I do this video. So probably I'll drop this video today and maybe I'll drop the Cotto video today also or tomorrow. Tomorrow at the latest. Okay, round 7. Here we go. We talked about Barrera circling left, Manny Pacquiao cutting off the ring versus following him. Talked about this is the first breakout fight for Manny Pacquiao that really launched him. So he was relatively unknown before this. Although he was known, but not as much as he was after this fight. You could see Barrera gets caught in the tornado of Manny Pacquiao a lot more than Morales and Marquez. I think Marquez was the person that got caught least in their first fight with of the tornado of Manny Pacquiao when he stepped back, countered. I think that was a headbutt. Barrera is the one that's getting caught up the most in the tornado of punches from Manny Pacquiao out of the 3 fighters. Where is the cut? Oh, right on the eyebrow. Oh. I was just thinking about this the other day. I was like, when you see cuts on fighters, it's almost never the punches. It's always an elbow, headbutt. So like the bloody scenes from movies where they might be cut and stuff, that's not even from a punch, just from headbutts. Headbutts, elbows. Okay, let's see. You said that Pacquiao's a straight shooter. He wants to come straight forward at you. Barrera used his jab pretty well. Maybe I was thinking Morales might have took this out of Barrera's playbook. Nice, Barrera. This is something that Barrera and Roberto Duran, they did very well. I've made a video of this on Instagram comparing the two, but on the inside, I've seen them doing this in multiple different fights each. When they're about here, well, this is illegal, but he's headbutted it and he's tired, so we gotta let that go. They dig the body with both hands on the inside. Here, 1. Okay, he didn't do it as much as I thought he did it in slow motion. But say in this position, Barrera and Duran, they would target the body with uppercuts. Left, right, when someone is squared up. I thought Barrera did it here, but not as much. See, like Marquez after the knockdowns, Marquez wasn't getting caught clean like this, or getting caught in the punches of Manny Pacquiao as much. He would step back, counter, and then push Manny Pacquiao off of him. Barrera was the more type to let you come in and fight you, but I think that was the wrong strategy against Manny Pacquiao. Maybe this is the only strategy he could pull off. Here he does good. This is what Pacquiao, he did this against Marquez too, is when the other guy's attacking, he's just blocking, he's not really countering. Against Morales, he was countering a little bit more. He would stop and counter. Here, and against Marquez, when he would get pushed back with punches, he would just cover up, wait for the guy to finish, and then carry out his own attack again. Barrera needs to keep jabbing. That was a blatant headbutt. Blatant. But it's to the chest. So Morales, he turned Pacquiao like how Barrera is, but he also attacked with right hands. I think that was the difference between Barrera and Eric Morales. Like I said, Marquez, he would step back and counter the left hand of Pacquiao, which I thought was very effective also. Morales did all three. He fought Pacquiao, he stepped back and countered, and he came forward and pushed Pacquiao back. I think that's why he had the most success out of the three. That could be attributed to his style. Maybe he learned it from watching these fights, or who knows, but I think he did the most different things against Pac-Man. Nice uppercut by Pacquiao. I feel like from here on it won't be much to study. It's just if they found themselves in a fight. Okay, this is what when people talk about Manny Pacquiao's hand speed and weird angles of punching, they don't mean weird angles of footwork. It's the punches. So he'll throw like a jab. I don't know what that is, a left hook, and a right hand that just shoots straight in. So bang, bang, bang. Okay, that's unorthodox. That's pretty unorthodox. That's not even a jab or uppercut. It's just a straight shot. I've started copying this a little bit in sparring, and it actually works a lot. So a guy like Barrera, he's learned or he's boxed his whole life to catch or defend against a jab, a left hook, a right hook, uppercuts. He's not really like from this angle. He hasn't trained to just this pop right here. So these types of punches, they work really good because they're unorthodox, and they it's like an uppercut, jab, bang. Oh, that was a headbutt by Pacquiao. So it is good sometimes to throw these unorthodox punches. That's what a lot of Pacquiao's opponents said. He throws his punches from weird angles. Because if you think about it, the opponent has trained their whole life to defend against jabs, uppercuts, hooks, right hands, blah, blah, like those 6 punches. But sometimes fighters, they throw punches a little bit more different. Like say Triple G, he threw his hooks from all different angles. I should do a video on that. And not only is it his power, but it's the opponent isn't ready to defend this punch, so he gets in and it does more damage than a regular punch. Let's see what happens here. So double jab, stepping to the side, Pacquiao. Perfect lining up. See how they're here? Okay, we'll wait for the spar to go away. I gotta figure out this problem. Okay. Step. Now Barrera is right. Pacquiao's left hand is right in between Barrera's guard. And then he shoots that weird right hand again, but it misses. He throws it too much on an angle. That's the punch that I was saying Duran and Barrera throw, is that left hand by Barrera right here. But in other instances, they'd follow up with another right hand, left uppercut, right hand, left uppercut, all to the body. Here, Pac is just having his way. He's no longer having to cut off the ring as much. Barrera wants to fight also. Nice left hand to the body. So like many boxers, Pacquiao has 2 different types of punches. He has arm punches, and he has punches that he puts his weight behind. Once I do the Cotto fight, you'll see what I really mean. He uses his arm punches to kind of guide Cotto to where he wants him to go, and then he attacks with his hard punches. At this point, he wasn't doing it as much, or maybe not at all. He was just coming forward and punching, but against Cotto, he does it very well. He gets Cotto where he wants him to be, and then he attacks. Okay, here is what Barrera, he did this 2 rounds ago in the 6th round, I believe, which is jab, step left, and you see Manny Pacquiao turning with him. Again, this is what Barrera should have done more of, but right here, as Pacquiao is turning with him, like right here, he should have stepped faster and came in with an attack faster, which is what Morales did, but I don't know. Like right there again. These are all chances to punch first and attack first. What's that? Is that the weird punch that Pacquiao throws again? See, no telegraphing from the boom. That's pretty cool. We'll move on. Mayweather would, after he fought Pacquiao, of course, they were both way older than they were in 2003, but he said that he found out Pacquiao had to reset before he attacked. I'm not sure what he meant by that exactly. I'd want to study that fight and see how he dealt with Pacquiao's attacks, even though they're much older. See, that's that punch. Unorthodox. Every fighter that I've trained, if they fight or if they don't fight, I teach them the basics. So, and like the right way of throwing punches, the jab, hook, whatever. But I always like to see them on the bag, and I just say hit as hard as you can, fast as you can. Forget all technique and just throw punches. I want to see what punch they can throw that's kind of awkward, like say, like this punch right here. I like everybody that I train to have an unorthodox punch, at least one punch that's unorthodox that they feel comfortable throwing. Because against a boxer, like against a guy like Lomachenko, sometimes it's good to have an unorthodox punch that they're not ready to receive or block or do that. Of course, you want to teach them the right punches, but I also like them having that one awkward punch that would give a boxer trouble. Like, for example, Maidana versus Mayweather. Maidana had that right hand. It wasn't even an overhand. It would just come, I don't know how he threw it. It would come straight down. And that gave Mayweather problems on the ropes. So, yeah, I like fighters when they have a little bit, if you want to teach them the boxing, the basics, but if they're too basic, then they're too easy to read because they're doing everything out of a book. Sometimes you want to give them material that's not in the book. It doesn't have to be like that, but I just like doing that sometimes. And you see Pacquiao getting that foot on the outside with the jabs. Nice comeback by Barrera. And see, like, Pacquiao throws, like, from here, Pacquiao's backwards. Like, his back is turned to Barrera almost. He just slings out a jab like that and buys himself time or could punch again. So it's an unorthodox punch that you don't really see too many people throw from that position. But yeah, if I'm fighting a very textbook fighter, sometimes I want to give them something that they haven't seen before, or they don't practice blocking, or different feints. Against a wild puncher, you want to tame them, so you want to box them, but you want to keep your eyes open for those wild punches that might come in. So like Triple G, Maidana, Pacquiao, they're all fighters that throw weird punches that boxers don't really practice defending, or they don't really go up against in sparring. That's like Roy Jones and his lead hook, his jumping in hook. Sorry, I got carried away talking. I gotta stop drinking too much coffee. But yeah, like Roy Jones' lead left hook. These are things that even if you have sparring partners, you can't resemble the person you're gonna fight. Like George Foreman's punches, Ken Norton. All these fighters have unorthodox punches. Not sure what happened there. What? I didn't see anything. He might have. I'm not gonna go back to it, but I don't know. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe another headbutt. Oh, that was nice. So when you see fighters with their heads banged up, it's very it's not always punches, headbutts, elbows, and it's the other parts that really mess up a fighter's face. Of course, punches too, but punches make more swellings rather than clean cuts. That was nice. Yeah, there's not much boxing left in this fight. It's mostly just fighting. No, Pacquiao's in Barrera's head. When you see someone fall for feints like that, it's just the other fighters in their head. They got total control. If you watch my breakdown of Wilfred Benitez, how he keeps the right hand as a threat in the whole fight, I feel like Pacquiao kind of does that too. With his left hand, it's a threat for the whole fight, and you don't know when he's going to throw it, if he's going to throw it. And like I said, for Benitez's opponents, it gets exhausting trying to block that backhand. That was a nice counter. So Barrera, this is a punch I love from Barrera, is that left hand to the body, but he opens up and he gets one to the chin. Throws it again. So I don't think I saw Marquez in this position. But like I said, styles make fights. I think Barrera gets stopped in the 11th round, I believe. Oh. I'm not a fan of the things on the ring, the stickers on the ring. I like watching old fights where the canvas was just blank white. It just makes the fight look cleaner. Especially when here they have the same color gloves. I like when boxers had the same color gloves, basic shorts, and the ring was clear. There's that left hand again. See, this is what I said by the swaying back and forth that Pacquiao does. He doesn't do as much here, but he kind of sways left here, right here, and he shoots it right after. So sometimes he'll do it a couple times. Here he just did it once, put his weight on the right leg and shot. Now the other thing that I used to make a mistake is when I watched Pacquiao, I thought he threw the left hand as he shifted his weight. Let's see, maybe he shifts his weight and then throws a left hand. Okay, so what I used to think he did was, like, as he shifted his weight to his right foot, he would be throwing the left hand. But what he actually does is he shifts his weight, and then from here, he actually throws the left hand. If you know what I'm saying. So instead of throwing his left hand now as he's shifting his weight, and he sees for a split second, is the opening there? And if it is, he takes it. If the opening isn't there and then he's in this position, he just goes back to his other foot. He puts his weight on the other side. Yeah, he did that against De La Hoya a lot. I made a video about that on Instagram, his lead left hands against De La Hoya. Slipper. Yeah, I'm not a fan of these stickers on the ring. I think they're... I mean, you gotta make your money though, but... Blank canvas, simple shorts, and simple gloves. It makes it way easier to watch the fight. A lot less distractions. See, this is the left. This is what, like I've mentioned maybe 3, 4 times, 5 times before. Barrera jabbing, stepping to the left, forcing Pacquiao to turn with him. Now, right in this position, who do you think is going to be able to attack first? Barrera, but he doesn't. He lets Pacquiao. So that's the difference between surviving, which is Morales was not surviving against Pacquiao. He's taking the fight to him. So here, let's see when he gets his feet. Like here, Morales, like I've mentioned a bunch of times, this is where he would attack. Threw a jab, threw 2 right hands at Manny Pacquiao, pushed him back and worked him on the ropes. That shows that you're there to fight. When you just make a guy like in this such bad position and you let them relax and come forward again, you're just trying to survive their attack. Doesn't show the judges that you're trying to beat them up as much as you're trying to just keep them off of you. And even if you miss an attack, just do the attack in a smart way. Don't leave yourself open, but just come in with a double jab. See if it pushes them back. You might catch them off balance. I don't think Barrera was scared of Pacquiao. I think he was just messed up during this fight in the last few rounds. See Pacquiao following Barrera again. Following him. Cut off the ring. Step to the right. That's where you use your feints too. If someone's moving a lot, you feint to see where they committed their movement to. So next time you feint and you could cut them off, or you could cut them off. I think that was another headbutt. I feel like in the future, I'm not sure if this is like in the next 20 years, but I feel like in video games, the health bar, I feel like each fighter is going to have like a sticker on the back of their neck that's going to give like a picture on a screen to what's landing on them and where it's landing. So say if a headbutt lands, it'll register that, or if a rabbit punch lands, it'll register. And then the ref gets quick info instead of a replay. I don't know, that's just one of my ideas. That way, and it could do like a brain scan in real time, so if someone gets seriously hurt during the fight, but they're not showing any physical signs. There goes that unorthodox punch again. See, it's not a jab, it's not an uppercut. It's a jab from his chest, and he just pop. Now, this is something that you learn from fighting. So if, also going back to pad work, coaches that let their fighters or people they train they hold too much pads for them, and they only teach them boxing on the pads without sparring or fighting. They never learn these types of punches. Okay, because on the pads you're taught to look for a certain, like I said, the normal punches, which is a jab, a cross, hook, uppercuts, 2 hooks, uppercuts. That's basically all you work on the pads. You don't work unorthodox punches. In fighting, so in this position in fighting, Manny Pacquiao might have found himself in this position before, and he just wants to land something on Barrera. He's not thinking of throwing like a jab or anything. He's in this position, he just lets his hand go and he catches him with a punch. Okay, that's something that you only learn from fighting and sparring constantly. Like right there again. You don't learn this from hitting pads. So Pacquiao's been in this position before. He misses a left hand. Maybe when he was 16, when he was whatever age, when he was fighting a long time ago. This could have been 2 years before the fight. This position, what is he going to do? He's going to come up with that smacking right hand. And like I said, this is a punch that you only learn from fighting or sparring. You don't learn this from hitting pads. That's something I see a lot with fighters that hit a lot of pads, is there's openings, but they don't see them because they're not trained. Their eyes aren't trained to see those punches. They're only trained to see the jab, cross, hooks, uppercuts. They don't train for openings. It's like street smarts versus book smarts in real life. Book smart people that might not see opportunities in life because they've never had that experience being out in life. They've always been in a classroom, so they know how to read a book, but they don't know how to use it in real life. Nice fake right there. Might make a ooh, that was nice. I'm just gonna write this down real quick. This timestamp. Another thing that I've added to my fight studies is keeping a pen and paper, because it's easy to forget what time this happened at. So 2, 4, 6, 11 round. And Pacquiao, he came from a fighting background. He's like James Toney. They've sparred a lot. Pacquiao did hit a lot of pads, but I think it was later when he went to Freddie Roach. But he already had the fighting experience first. Nice fake with the left hand. Bring that right hand down. Throw that left hand. That was beautiful. What I like doing with the new fighter is, of course, teaching them the punches on pads for a couple months, letting them work the bag, talking to them about sparring, and then just throwing them into sparring, letting them spar for a few months or whatever, and then bringing them back on the pads, and then back and forth, and then just sticking them to sparring for a longer time, because you got to get a sense of fighting. You can't just hit pads all the time. That's something that's ruined boxing coaching, is if a new client, I should say, or a new person comes to the gym and they don't get a lot of pad work, they leave. They think the coach is a bad coach, which usually is the coaches that only do pad work. They're the bad coaches because they can't teach you. They could only exercise you. So if you're a new fighter and you want to go to a gym, don't always think about pad work. It's like a teacher that gives you pamphlets to fill out for homework versus a teacher that's going to teach you in the classroom by talking to you and showing examples. Pad work is more fitness and working on a certain punch, but I believe you should spar a lot more. No, the new thing is don't spar hard. Now, the only reason people say don't spar hard because of brain damage, of course, but you have to spar hard. You can't fight if you don't spar hard and if you don't spar often, because then you're just not ready to, when the fight comes, you're not ready to fight. Now, the new school of thought is don't spar hard, just work on your fitness and stuff, which is bullshit. But the right way causes more brain damage, so that's where you gotta choose as a fighter. Do you want to become a great fighter, or do you just want to protect yourself? You can't become a good driver if you don't drive. You can't be a good pilot if you don't fly the plane. You can't be a good boxer if you're not sparring. You can't theorize boxing like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do and this. No, you gotta fight and find out and keep yourself ready, sharp for the fight coming up. But like I said, the new age thing is don't spar too much because that's gonna ruin your brain. Well, of course that is, so you gotta make that choice. Are you gonna give your health to boxing? Are you gonna try to make it all the way, or are you gonna do 50-50 and not commit to it? And that's the sad truth about fighting. I think the TKO is coming soon. I smell it. This fight was a mess for Barrera. I think after the cut, he just lost. He just knew he was too behind, and I don't think he thought he could knock out Pacquiao. So he's fighting, but he knows he has no chance. If I'm his coach, I'm stopping the fight. Yeah. There's no reason for him to keep taking punishment. Okay, that was this second part. I think I'm gonna do the Cotto video today also. And sorry for veering off, but that's the thing about Manny Pacquiao is he came from a fighting background, not a hand pads background. If you watch him fight, he throws unorthodox punches because he learned that from sparring or from fighting. When he's in tough situations and he can't land a punch, you got to find that weird punch that will get in, and that was his right hand in this case that came from his chest straight in. Doing too much pad work. This is all stuff that I've learned from watching this fight and from just putting it all together. From doing too much pad work, you become too much of a regular boxer that you don't know how to think in different situations. You don't know how to find openings. So sparring and fighting are the most important part of a boxer's training regimen. Pad work, bag work, and all those other stuff are complementary. But the way to think like a fighter, find openings like a fighter, survive like a fighter, and win like a fighter, you gotta spar hard and you gotta fight often. Might be damaging to your health, but that's the price you gotta pay to become a good fighter. Thank you for watching part 2 of Pacquiao versus Barrera. I'll give a quick recap. So out of the 3 first fights that I've watched, Barrera, Marquez, Morales, Barrera, he had it the worst because Pacquiao was fresh on the scene when he fought him, so he didn't know what to expect maybe. He worked his jab and turned great, but he didn't attack as much as he did in the first half of the fight. He did step back, but he didn't counter, and he did step to the side, but he didn't attack. Marquez was more of a counter puncher. He stepped back, he slipped and countered, but he didn't attack as much. Morales, he did all 3. He stepped back and countered, he pushed in and attacked, and he jabbed and stepped around. So out of the 3, I give Morales the best performance against Manny Pacquiao and all of their first fights. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back with Miguel Cotto soon. Bye.